leave that for you, and then I'll have the box in front of me. Not that, one is in a particular corner.
Alright.
Because I like both of them.
Yeah.
So sexy. Anyways.
Hello!
My name's Patrick.
And I'm Adam.
This is Clock,
Stock,
and Barrel. Here with another fun comparison for you.
Nice matchup today. Japan versus
Switzerland. What's interesting is these aren't the same depth rating. However, they are professional grade divers.
Absolutely. And
they're both notable. You might not have heard of Doxa. You've certainly heard of Seiko. Guys, this is the comparison of the Doxa Searambler as opposed to the Marine Master 300. So guys, these are two of Adam's personal pieces. They're excellent dive watches. And speaking of, let's talk about what's on our wrist. I have or 65. Again, I've got this in for review. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not yet. I do have to say, it's an amazing watch.
I love it.
This close to perfection.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm rocking the Tudor Black Bay Bronze. And I got about a week ago or so.
So guys, we're going to go over a few of the specs.
Really good stuff. Yeah, let's rattle off some specs really quickly first.
So we'll
for
talk
you guys.
about the Marine Master.
You want to do the Marine
first
Master
and foremost, he's like the grandpa here. I mean, everyone knows who the Marine Master is.
Go ahead, rattle off some specs.
So we have here today, this is Adam's personal Seiko Marine Master, SBDX017. They're made in Japan. Utilizes an 8L35 automatic movement. It's a 26 joule movement. These can be chronometer grade and or Seiko. Seiko has its own grading scale. It's actually a step above chronometer.
But they don't use that for the MM.
They don't use that for the MMs, but his has just been regulated to.
Yeah, I just sent this to Jacket IWW. Shout out to him. It was running really poorly, which we'll get into in a little bit, but it's running within cost specs right now. I think it's like maybe losing a second or two a day at this point, and it's still probably settling in a little bit. So it's it's been good.
So guys, the case size, its diameter without the crown is 44 millimeters. It's a thickness of 14.6 millimeters. It comes with the not the rubber strap you see there. No,
it does. Yeah,
it comes with that waffle strap.
Yeah.
And it also comes with a bracelet, so that's notable. It also has a rotating with anti-reverse spin function bezel. I mean, that's basically saying unidirectional bezel. And anything else notable is, I guess, the screw-down crown. You have some professional dive watches without it. The Marine Master 300 comes with a screw-down crown, so if you need that safety, it's there. And other thing to note.
Monoblock case, definitely, for sure. Very unique. Actually, a lot of brands do this, but it's very unique to the Marine Master. If you want to get to the movement, you have to take the bezel off and go through the dial, which is kind of interesting. So servicing can be a little bit of a bitch, but...
Yeah, well, and lug to lug, I think, is about 50 millimeters, so you guys know. And guys, in the other corner, we have the Doxa Searambler. This thing looks so gnarly. I love this bead of rice bracelet. At any rate, you'll see it.
Yeah, guys, so this is the Doxa Searambler 1200T. Retails for about $2,490, but you can get it for way less, which is why we're doing this comparison as well, because the Seiko and the Doxa are kind of in the same wheelhouse.
Price-wise, definitely.
Price-wise used, and new too. So this is limited to 1,200 pieces, handmade and assembled in Switzerland. It has brushed solid stainless steel. The case is made of 316L steel, 44 millimeters in total length. So the lug to lug is actually very short. So anyone with really small wrists out there, you guys are going to love this piece. 44 millimeters is really short. So 42.7 millimeters, not including the crown. 44.5 including the crown. Water resistance to 1,200 meters, which is huge. And a dial diameter...
helium escape valve there. Automatic helium escape valve.
And then the dial diameter is 27 millimeters, which makes it wear pretty small as well, because it has that cushion case, and it's only 42 to begin with. So
yeah, that's pretty miraculous for a watch with this depth rating. Generally, you'll see, I'm not going to say oversized, but appropriately sized dive watches.
I think it's important to note that both of these actually wear pretty small. This Marine Master is 44. but wears more like an SKX, like 42.5 or so,
Yeah.
because of that wide body that it has. And of course the cushion case here with the small dial makes it wear a lot smaller for the Doxa. The Doxa also has scratch-resistant, anti-reflective 3mm dome sapphire crystal, stainless steel case back, engraved with the limited edition, which is really cool. Has that helium release valve that Patrick noted. Unidirectional stainless steel bezel, which is actually pretty cool. It has the U.S. Navy non-decompression table. You guys will see in the close-up. I think it has a time ring on the bezel, and it has that decompression table as well. What else we got here? We have a high-grade 25 joule ETA 2824, beating at 28,800 beats per hour, just like the Marine Master has a 42 hour.
Maybe that or SW200, right?
Yeah, either, yeah.
I don't know why companies, it's such an odd...
With a 42-hour power reserve.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not modified in any which way, right?
I think they do modify a little bit.
Okay.
And I know that they I believe, I'm almost positive they use the highest grade ETA to start with.
Yeah, that's important to note, guys. Yeah, there are different, like, you might hear 2824, you know, like, why would I buy a Doxa when I can get a Hamilton? It has a 2824. There are different grades of movements available, so.
And the hands on this are replicas of the original 1967 Doxa sub. And they're filled with Super Luminova, which is really cool.
Those hands are killer. If you guys didn't get to take it in,
yeah, really love that dwarf hour hand with that big orange minute hand. I think it's awesome. And then of course the famous Doxa Beads of Rice bracelet, which is 20mm and has solid end links as well. Yeah, so it also comes with a cool little Bergeron screwdriver for the screw-in links, and then it comes in the famous Doxa aluminum tube instead of like a box.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
If you follow our Instagram, I believe you posted a picture of that. But we were also on a couple different forums.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can see that Doxa tube, even if you just look up Doxa diver, you're most likely going to see that case. Yeah. It's synonymous.
And it comes with a 2-year warranty. And I was wrong. So on their website, you can actually get one brand new for $1,890. So
nice.
New, we're looking at a pretty much identical matchup in price, give or take about $100. Nice. So this is a really good matchup. You have a saturation diver and 1,200 meter water resistance. So these are true dive watches in every sense of the world. Both inspired by watches from the same time period. And I believe, you know what's funny, I think this is 1967 for this, the original Doxa sub. And I believe the original Marine Master, it wasn't called the Marine Master, but the watch that this is kind of based on, it was like the 61 something something reference. I believe that came out possibly even in 67 as well. I know it's in the 60s, so you know, very very similar kind of watches in every way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's talk about kind of the head-to-head, right? Let's kind of start off with some of the easy things. How about the bracelet? You know, the bracelet in general, what it comes with.
So
what
guys,
do you think about that?
I think the bracelet on both these watches are pretty refined, pretty nice. It's kind of weird.
Gotta hate pin and collar.
I'm not a big fan of the pin and collar system unless it's done well, right? So pin and collar, there's a pin and then there's a ferrule that the pin goes into and it spreads out the ferrule, and that makes up the difference between these links and it holds your bracelet together. That's exactly how I feel. That car siren, not a huge fan of it. The Marine Master uses that, and they also have just very flat-sided links. It's interesting. It actually lends to a comfortable wear.
It is very comfortable, yeah.
However, damn.
Yeah.
Dude, so I was telling Adam for the longest time, there's vintage Omegas that come with bead of rice bracelets, and they're touted as some of the best wearing bracelets. And so I've always wanted to get a bead of rice bracelet. And there's other companies that make bead of rice bracelets that you can pick up aftermarket for your watches, but you know, Doxa, this is sort of their bread and butter.
They're the OGs of the beads of rice, I think.
And they're comfortable. They're
so
comfortable, guys. So like wearability, is that a thing? Comfortability? Guys, the Doxa kind of steals it for me. And you tell me, because you
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, everyone that I talk to, they love the beads of rice bracelet. And, you know, I think it's super comfortable. Looks-wise, I think it's okay. I'm not a huge fan of the beads of rice bracelet, you know. But I will say, this Doxa can be worn on leather straps, and we can even, I had it almost this leather right here when we first came in, and this thing looks absolutely incredible on a brown leather strap or any kind of leather strap that you want, and rubber as well. You can get some aftermarket rubber for this piece. Same can't really be said for the Marine Master. It looks great on rubber, but leather is kind of so-so.
But it does look killer on leather, and rubber.
Yeah,
rather.
It does.
So that's nice to know, guys. These are both, universal lug widths. You can put aftermarket straps
Gotta love
on.
the 20 millimeters too. Best lug width ever.
It's on average, I think 20 millimeters. I don't know statistically, but from all the watches we've had in our collection, 20 millimeters is sort of the go-to size.
I love the look. Yeah, I mean this is 22, which is okay
for the size of that piece.
Yeah, exactly. But
average, like this is 20
awesome.
millimeters. By the way, so you guys know. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, guys, so far as the bracelets are concerned, I think we're a little bit divided here. I think the Doxa is a little bit more, and so far as the comfortability is concerned, the Marine Master, its case design lends to a more comfortable wear with the body. These cushion cases are innately comfortable though.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Maybe it's a little bit of a tie.
And it doesn't wear as tall, which is really nice, as
The
opposed to the
Doxa.
Marine Master, which sits pretty high on the wrist,
Yeah, because you know what? This is comfortable, right, for your wrist and action, but
it's a full 15 millimeters, and since it wears kind of small, more like a 42-ish, kind of, it sits pretty high.
It floats off the wrist too, like how those lugs are shaped. It literally is gravitating off your wrist.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more pronounced.
Yeah. So the Marine Master, I do love. So a lot of people think this OEM strap. I mean, it is kind of hard. This OEM rubber strap. But I think it is like a 9 out of 10 aesthetically. I think. Yeah. It looks phenomenal on that.
It was made
that
for
vintage kind of looking
watch too. It
waffle
just
strap.
So good on that watch.
So I've been wearing it on the waffle lately, and I also actually have a Crafted Blue strap. Shout out to Crafted Blue. They make custom rubber straps for a bunch of different Seikos, the Sumo, the MM300. So this is kind of a nice rubber as well. I actually prefer the OEM rubber, but yeah, this is like almost makes it like an integrated rubber right to the case.
Yeah. So there's options. There's definitely options.
Definitely have to
uses
note
the original bracelet.
Yeah, we definitely have to note the titanium clasp.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. It has this ratchet system. It sits a little tall, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the system itself is pretty cool. You basically push back on the lever, and you can pull this dive extension out, right? And then just click it right back in.
Yeah, so you can throw it all the way out and then size it to what you need. So for you divers out there, this guy does come with a dive extension. You can see it under the bracelet there. So true to its heritage, the Doxa.
They could have done a better job with the clasp, I think. I love the actual bracelet itself. The clasp is,
But this is like a tried and true design.
Very true.
You've seen this on much cheaper divers, and you'll see it again here. It's just a click to it to lock in place, and then you have the one top hatch to lock it in place. And I gotta say, it's executed really well on the Doxa.
Fun fact about Doxa: Doxa actually died when the quartz crisis hit, and then they were completely revived. I think in the 90s, maybe even 2000.
Really?
2000, yeah. I think another like parent company brought them back to life.
Huh.
Which is what that logo is actually on the back. I think that little weird
fish.
Yeah, the fish. That's like I read it was like the Jenny and Co. or something like that. They're the parent company of Doxa now. So.
So guys, why don't we get to the case?
Yeah, they're good. The bread and butter.
The ugly here.
Yeah.
So I've mentioned in a previous video that I love the bezel action on the Marine Master 300, and I have to say, comparing these two today, this if you like a nice tight bezel, this Doxa is insane. This bezel, it's got a nice click to it. It's thick. I wouldn't say it has as nice of a turning feel as the Marine Master. However, wherever it stops, it stops. Every single click is a hard click. There's no wobble, there's no nothing. And I've seen that with a lot of different brands. This thing is it's where it is, and it's going to stay there, right?
Yeah, no
Same with
play.
the Marine Master, except this one feels a little bit more secure. This one has a nicer turn, but this one definitely has. When I look at this and I look at this one definitely. If I was going to say it had play, one of them, it would be this one. But there isn't that much play on the bezel here, you know.
So we have I think there's like a painted aluminum insert on this Seiko, and then there is I believe I don't even know, but I know it's painted bezel, and then the Doxa is steel.
Yeah, it's entirely steel,
yeah.
and they're both 120 click.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, so get used to it. And the cases themselves, the finish, Seiko's synonymous for their case finish.
I mean, I think it's a no contest, to be honest. The depth of the dial, the applied markers, they're hand painted on there. The loom's hand painted, I believe.
Yeah.
The polished bits.
I'll give you guys a look side to side.
I mean, and the camera can't do it. Can't give the Marine Master its credit. You have to see it in person to see it, but. I think the Marine Master wins here, even though the Doxa does look pretty damn good, and I love the brushed cushion case with the polished sides on the Doxa. But I think the Marine Master just it's next level.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of this sort of sawtooth. There's an interesting bezel design.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that those grips, they're all individual. They all have these little coin edges to them, and they're directional. They're not just straight out of the bezel itself. They're actually angled to a certain degree, and it's very, very nice in the hands, and it's very easy to turn. I'll give the bezel to the Doxa here, but the overall case design on these watches, I love my Seikos. This one's no different. It's phenomenal.
The monoblock case too is just badass.
Oh yeah. Between the two, which is a better design? I think aesthetically pleasing, Seiko.
Yeah, I mean the Doxa is an ugly watch. It's ugly and beautiful at the same time.
It's like,
but the Marine Master is just beautiful.
So this is like comparing a Labrador to a Bulldog.
A Bulldog, yeah.
You figure out which
you gotta appreciate the Doxa to see the beauty in it for sure.
Exactly. Whereas this one, you wanna have that in your home regardless.
Yeah, I will say on the wrist, I think the Doxa wears a little bit better. Because I think the Marine Master is a little bit top heavy. Obviously on rubber it's a little bit tighter on the wrist, so there's not much play. But on the bracelet itself, and that also depends on how you wear your bracelet. If you wear it tight or loose.
Yeah.
But the Marine Master is definitely a little bit more top heavy.
So, you think this is more comfortable?
I think the Doxa is a little bit more comfortable. Yeah.
How do you feel about that Doxa? Does it compare? So you guys know Seiko's sort of the gold standard out there.
Yeah.
When it comes to affordable loom and then just high-end loom in general.
It's not the best loom. It's
certainly the brightest for a period, and
right.
then it fades, and then
it's standard super luminova, but I mean, like Seiko burns like a torch. That they're famous for that. So there's really no contest with loom.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, this is going to go deeper, but it's not going to be as
yeah.
visible and or legible because of that. So what's cool here is, like, I'd like to note one thing about these dials, because we didn't really touch on the dials or the handsets. The case goes to Seiko, but there's a lot of unique features on the Doxa. So, you know, the hour markers on the Seiko are pretty common. And when you ask the average person what they think about dive watches, you're going to see more of these features here. So this dive watch is going to look like every other dive watch. I have to say, Marksman dial here, I love the sunburst white dial itself. I love the hour markers. It's a very unique dial layout and look.
Yeah, I love the orange too. I mean, and that would look absolutely incredible on an orange strap. Doxa has an orange rubber strap too that kind of pushes right up against the case, and it looks like an integrated
you see
rubber.
Some images of that online.
And oh man, for this like a summer look, I mean, I don't think you can beat that.
No.
You know, it kind of, Patrick, one of our good friends, he mentioned that this kind of reminds him a little bit of the white dial Omega Proplof too.
Yeah.
It has a little bit like the orange with the white and the steel. It kind of has this cool sort of vintage divey
same
look,
sort of aesthetic as that guy.
Yeah.
However, though, the finish here, I mean, it's gonna have to go to the Seiko again. Like, if you just look at the hands on this Seiko, there are layers. Do you know what I mean? It's brushed on the top, polished edges. They're just thick slabs of metal, as opposed to the thin metal hands of the Doxa that are painted over. And of course, you know, the dials themselves, I love the inlaid markers. It's just a phenomenal look. It just looks top-notch. Whereas the Doxa, not to knock on Squale, but they're a more affordable dive watch brand. It kind of feels like Squale finish.
Yeah.
Squale.
Yeah, I can agree with
You
that.
kind of know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they utilize the orange minute hand as well. So
Yeah.
well, so guys, you have two movements. One is unique.
One's in-house.
One's in-house, and I love Seiko for that. But you know what's funny? Like, even other brands use their movements. So, you know, Seiko's really got a lot of skin in the game when it comes to marketing watches and their movements. This one is unique, however, to this watch, and you have it at a 2824 or a Sellita SW200 there. One would argue there's more replacement parts.
So yeah, I mean, I think overall this is more of like a workhorse movement, and I've heard. So obviously, I had some issues with my Marine Master. It was losing about 30 seconds a day, even though this is a 2016 model of the SBDX 017. I had to get it regulated, which was no issue because now it's in cost. You know, for under $100, now it's running at cost specs, right? Which is great, but I had to go to someone special who knew how to open up that Seiko through the top and correctly put it back together. Like I said, this one uses a top grade ETA. I think this watch was purchased.
Back, so.
Yeah, this watch was purchased I think in 2011. I have no reason to believe it's been serviced since then, and I think it's running at about. What I've observed is like depending on if it's crown up, you know, crown down or whatever, dial up. I've been getting like plus 5, 10, 15 seconds a day.
Kind of expected from...
Yeah, but you know what though? It's also, it's need for a service probably too, because it's been about 6 years. But I don't really mind, you know, plus 15 seconds, because then you can just pull the crown out and wait 15 seconds or a minute after a week or so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you gotta give if you're looking at it from like a watchmaker's standpoint, I guess, you have to give the Seiko the edge, you know, because it's an in-house move, it's an undecorated Grand Seiko movement, but I've heard a lot of inconsistent stories on forums and things like that, where people are having either great accuracy out the box or really shitty accuracy. And honestly, when you're paying over $1,000 for a dive watch, like, I don't really think that's acceptable.
No. You
need to have everything within a reasonable tolerances. And they say, I believe it's minus 10 to plus 15.
Yeah.
They got to tighten that up a little bit. You know what I mean?
They do.
And they could easily regulate that, I feel like. And I don't know why they don't. I don't know if there's no way it costs that much to regulate that movement.
Their top-end diver.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, disregarding their spring drive diver.
Yeah, the Grand Seikos, yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking price point alone, but for the Prospect lineup, this is the top-end diver.
Right. But you know what? It's a resounding theme throughout the Seiko lineup. You guys have commented on our videos. We've had some great accuracy with some of our 4R36 movements.
6R15.
6R, yeah, exactly. But some of you guys are like, no, this thing was losing 40 seconds, but then my other watch was within 3 seconds. You know, so it's kind of a shame that inconsistency goes to the Marine Master as well.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, reliability, I mean, I guess you got to give it to the ETA, right?
Yeah.
Or this ETA-based caliber.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. There's pros and cons to both of them. You know what I mean?
Okay, so and if you're going to look at this in the basis sense, you have a gorgeous watch that gives you the date, or you have an extreme tool watch that also gives you the date.
Yeah, because no one's actually going to be using these for legit diving. You might go diving with it, but you're not going to you're going to have a diving computer on your wrist. So it comes down to aesthetics, I guess. You know?
So you picked both.
Which
would you keep?
Man, I mean, I would probably keep the Marine Master just because I love it so much and it's so gorgeous. I don't know, if you had to give these watches a rating out of 100.
Out of 100?
Yeah. What would you I think I would do...
Qualify that pretty easily.
I think I would do an 88 for the Doxa, and I would give the Marine Master like a 92. So I think the Marine Master all things considered, it still edges the Doxa
Out of the
a
box,
little
you
bit.
get a little bit extra with the rubber strap option and the bracelet. The bracelet has a really nice clasp with a better dive extension.
Yeah.
And you have a unique case with a love it or hate it in-house movement that can be regulated to better accuracy.
Right.
I'd give the Seiko something like a 90.
Yeah.
The Doxa, maybe just a little less.
A little less, yeah.
Like 88. They're really comparatively great. And I love Eddas and Solitas, so I've got no qualms with that.
Honestly, I think it really for me just comes down to looks. Mm-hmm. And that's I'm still putting other things into consideration too, but the looks for me in the Marine Master just put it over that 90 mark,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below on these two watches if you own one or the other.
Two very similar, yet very different watches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Beat of Rice bracelet. I think it's amazing on the wrist. It's such a handsome watch. It's tough.
It is.
All right, guys, so similar wrist sizes. Here are the watches on the wrist. You can see they're both about as elevated off the wrist as the other.
Yeah, so.
But, ultimately they're pretty thick watches, but to be honest, this one doesn't feel as thick.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't because of that small dial, and the cushion case sits way lower, so. I'm going to take this one, though.
65, dude, it's money.
Or a 65.
So, guys, which one should you buy? Neither. You should have just bought the Oris.
The Oris. Nah, we'll talk about the Oris in another video, guys. But shoot us a comment and let us know which one you guys prefer.
Mm-hmm.
The polarizing looks of the Doxa, or the beautiful Marine Master.
Anyway, guys, like this video if you liked it, disliked it if you dislike it. It's cool. We're not going to be offended. Subscribe with that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. That's why it's there. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on this episode. Take care.
See you guys.
Have a good one.
My girlfriend's calling me.